Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another week of TCG news. As always, if you guys are looking for Force of Will singles or sealed product or Caster Chronicles sealed product, be sure to visit the link in the description below for Happy Little Hug Factory. They have pre-orders for the new set, Decisive Battle of Valhalla, as well as pre-orders for the new set of Caster Chronicles Polar Night, where it's doing a sort of crossover with Force of Will with using some of the Force of Will art in it, as well as pre-orders for the new Caster Chronicles starter deck. So be sure to click that link in the description so they know we sent you over and go and get set up on all of that. Also brought to you by Play DKP Accessories. You can click the link in the description, go over to their website, and you can use code TCG for 5% off their magnetic playmat, where you can play on the go, outside, move your stuff at convenience without it flopping all around. So be sure to check that out and check out a review of that if you are curious. So we got a couple quick things to go over, so we'll just jump right into it. First, we got our look at the monthly promo, which is full. So it's cool to see that they're reprinting star deck cards still for the promos. And I like that just because I like alternating things up a bit, making my deck look a little bit different. So it's without full arts, because the star deck is a little bit hard to do that. So having promos is a nice way to do it. And this one's actually a cool one to do it for, I think. The only downside is it looks like I think it's pretty much for sure now. We were kind of iffy on it before, but they're for sure doing one promo per month now instead of the normal two. So that's a little bit of a bummer, especially with how promos and distribution works a lot of the time. But you know, it's something at least. So, and we'll just keep on going on with that, and we'll see if they keep doing the Wander League promos once that ends with the well, I forget. I lost track of when it was, but I knew it was going up until a certain point of like promos that were planned out, and so they were gonna see if they continued it after that. So we'll have to go and check on that to keep an eye on it. A bigger piece of news is the Arizona GP coming up in August. They announced a lot of their pricing that I and a lot of other people were not aware of, including a helping pay, not pay all the way, but at least pay some of the way to Worlds if you get that first place. So I'll real quick go over some of the pricing so you guys can get an idea of it. The ruler for this, that you'll get the metal version, the gold Uber and all that stuff, is going to be Loki this time around. The promo card for attending, I think it's the top 16 or I forget how it works, but it's going to be the blazer for the promo card. They also are going to have Energize plates, I believe they're called. It might be similar to what we saw Games and Geek do with the people who do the Energize tokens, so we'll have to wait and see. They don't have any images or info on that at this point in time. And they're also going to have product as pricing as well. So depending on your place, you could get 1 or 2 booster boxes or half a booster box, etc. So I thought that was really cool. That's one thing I really wish a lot of the GPs and WGPQs did, was just give product, because I personally really like that type of pricing. And then the helping pay for Worlds, that's if they get 40 players to attend. If that happens, they'll pay for $400 for travel fees if the person does end up going to Worlds. They said if more people attend, then they'll, add more money to that potentially. So we'll wait and see. So hopefully a lot of people show up, especially with that extra incentive to help out with the trip. Will be, I thought was really cool of them to do. They have 3 different entries into the event. The bronze, which would be the regular entry, gets you obviously access to the event, and a wind promo card, the Wind Magic Stone promo card. So that's kind of cool. The next one, the $60 tier, obviously comes with the previous stuff, as well as your choice of 2 Energize coins from the Malaysian company. I don't know if these are new ones or ones that we've seen before, but that's pretty awesome as well. And the last one, which is $105, comes with all the previous stuff, but you also get the choice of 1 more of the Energize coins and your choice of 1 of the Energize plates. And so he did actually confirm there that it is all from the same people in Malaysia. So I would assume it's similar plates to what we saw at Games and Geeks. So that's pretty awesome. If you're really into collecting stuff like that, like I am, that $105 tier probably would totally be worth it for sure. Especially if you're like me and know you won't top to get some of the other pricing. And in case you guys have been missing it all, spoiler season started for Force of Will. There's been a lot of stuff coming out. The schedule for it has been kind of wonky. If you guys have been following, we're doing spoiler videos for spoilers, usually 4 to 6 at a time, 4 cards or 6 cards revealed. And the release of those is kind of back and forth. It really depends, because the English ones sort of release and then they stop at a certain point in the week, and then foreign language ones release, but they release different cards than the English ones. And then when we come back to English, they release some new ones and some that were in the other language. So it's kind of this weird wonky situation that I'm not quite sure what the motive or rhyme and reason is to it at all. But so yeah, it's leading to some wonky upload times and knowing when stuff will be spoiled. But there's been a lot of interesting things, a lot of new mechanics. Some of these mechanics are faith, which involves it. You get faith abilities once your J ruler is astral. There's abilities that we don't know what they do yet, called Dragon, Emblem, and Vermilion. I don't know what those two are yet. There's sort of a inheritance ability, but they don't use the inheritance name for some reason, but it's essentially inheritance on some of the cards, and possibly something to do with J rulers, whether it be like transforming a J ruler, a new J ruler, or some type of other mechanic involving a J ruler. We're not quite sure yet, but if you're curious on that, just go check out our spoiler videos. But yeah, so there's a lot of interesting things going on. I'm curious how to play out. It definitely feels like the power level is higher in this than it usually is in other sets. I'm curious if that'll turn the tide on how certain decks operate, or if it mostly just stay the same and buff the current decks. And my main concern is how this might affect the local area. We'll let you guys sort of be the judge of that, and we'll wait to see what comes out of it. But yeah, it definitely feels like a higher power level than before. Lastly, like I mentioned, Caster Chronicles is crossing over with Force of Will. Now this currently involves them grabbing old Force of Will art and sort of using it in the new set, Polar Knights, and which is pretty interesting. So it looks like so far they're grabbing art sort of from cards that aren't used as much or weren't used as much for Force of Will and put it on theirs, which is kind of cool. And some of the cards are kind of unique inside of Caster Chronicles. They tend to be, it looks like, higher cost cards and stuff, which is kind of cool. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I was kind of hoping that they were going to be creating new art, which involved the Force of Will characters inside of a Caster Chronicles settings, but fortunately it doesn't look like we're getting that. But it'll still be cool to see this, especially if they go back to, like I said, how they were doing it before with actual textured cards. It'll be cool to see this old Force of Will art in textured form. And it also seems like Casters is doubling down on old mechanics, which is really awesome. One specific one is the Soul Bond mechanic, which they're really bringing back in full force, both with the new cards and old cards coming in. So I'm pretty excited about that. I really like the Soul Bond mechanic and how everything with that worked. And it looks like they're also bringing in promo cards that were sort of, you know, exclusive or what have you, and putting them inside the set as well. So if you were looking into getting into Casters, this would be a good starting point. So definitely recommend looking into that if you want. And that's all the news for today. Let us know what you guys think below, or if we missed anything, and we'll see you next week.